I literally have nothing to say. Which everyone who knows me is like, wow, you're quiet. But like every time we start an episode, I never think about it before.
Well, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, I just like say stuff, but I have nothing to say, which worries me for this episode.
Welcome back to the podcast, guys.
Am I good? Am I okay?
No.
I just feel my head.
She's had a rough morning. Today's episode is brought to you by Wondery. Billboard named Mariah Carey Artist of the Decade in the 90s. She won 5 Grammys and sold more than 100 million albums worldwide. But in the late 90s, it all came crashing down, leaving the world to wonder, would she ever reach the heights of pop superstardom again? Even the Rich starts with Mariah's rise to stardom when she used her extraordinary once-in-a-lifetime musical talents to escape a dangerous upbringing, only to find herself tied to music executive Tommy Mottola, the man who helped make her dreams a reality. I love stories like this. I love hearing the rise and the fall of the rich and the famous. It is the most intriguing and most interesting to me. Listen to Even the Rich on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or you can listen ad-free by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app.
Today's episode is brought to you by Gainful.
Gainful delivers your personalized protein as often as needed. You can cancel anytime or adapt your plan as needed. You can get started by taking the 5-minute Gainful quiz. Gainful supports your whole body, health, individual fitness goals, and ever-evolving needs. Gainful personalized protein is formulated with simple and effective ingredients that work to achieve a wide range of fitness goals, from weight loss to muscle building. I personally am obsessed with Gainful because their protein is formulated with simple and effective ingredients that work to achieve a wide range of fitness goals, whether you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to build muscle.
To get $20 off your personalized protein, go to gainful.com/advice. That's Gainful, GAINFUL.com/advice for $20 off. Gainful, personalized nutrition made for your tastes.
Today's episode is brought to you by Native. Native deodorant is made with ingredients you've heard of, like coconut oil and shea butter. You wear deodorant every day, so shouldn't you be able to understand the ingredients list? Making the switch to an aluminum-free deodorant does not mean you have to sacrifice on performance. Native will keep you smelling and feeling fresh all day long. I love Native because they are so environmentally friendly. If you are trying to cut down your plastic use, Native even has a deodorant made of 100% paperboard packaging. You are going to love Native as much as I do. Right now, you can save 20% on your first purchase. Go to nativedeo.com/advice or use promo code ADVICE at checkout. That's nativedeo.com/advice or use promo code ADVICE to check out to save 20% on your first purchase. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the podcast.
Hello.
This is Ashley speaking. That over there is Taryne. She's had a rough morning. It's Monday, and we're here together, obviously, with you guys. As you guys know, this is the podcast where we advise you.
Yes.
If you haven't been here before, welcome. Welcome to the family. Be sure to subscribe, like, rate, review the pod, and check out our YouTube because we have this on YouTube as well.
Yes. I'm sorry for my parents today. It's not that I had a rough morning. I just could not get up.
It was so Taryne and I, we come into the studio and our plan normally is to leave at 9:30, which gives us plenty of time to stop, grab a coffee and get to the studio on time, which by the way, we got here like right on time.
Yeah.
But it was like 9:15 and I had already gone to the gym, come back, worked out, had breakfast.
Okay.
I walked past Taryne's room and the light's out. I can always check. I can always tell by under the door.
Yeah.
So I was like, uh-oh. So I text her. It's like 9:15. I'm like, hey, you up?
And I
get yup. Y-U-P.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, should I put in the coffee order? And then she comes downstairs. She's like, yup.
Yup. You know, I worry for myself when I become a mom because you know how like moms, it's like you see those mom TikToks where like they're making fun of the moms who always look so put together because they're like, this is how I look when I drop them off for school.
Yeah.
I feel like, because this morning I had to choose between either feeding my son, Charles, who's a dog, and looking somewhat presentable. Right. And I didn't have time. Yeah. So like, I had to sacrifice and
mom
just
life.
make sure I fed my dog and got him outside.
Uh-huh.
And I look like a turd, but it's fine because it doesn't matter because you came here for my sparkling personality. Yeah.
That's why they're all here.
Which that's what I'm going to tell all the guys. And be like, I might look rough, but I sparkle on the inside and I will keep your life entertained.
Always.
What more do you want? Honestly. Think about
Package
it.
deal.
That's what COVID, I feel like, did to most couples. Like, they were like, wow, I like looking at you, but now that I'm stuck with you 24/7, like, I don't like you as a person.
We need some distance, separation. Can we talk about our super fun weekend this weekend?
Yeah.
Taryne had her 3rd birthday party.
Well, I only was supposed to have one, but then it got pushed back like over a month past when my birthday was.
Yeah.
So it was just like, but then my friends are like, great. And we're like, well, we can't just like not do anything for your actual
on
birthday.
your birthday. Yeah.
So yeah, so I've never really thrown myself like a party. And my sister-in-law, who is literally like my spirit animal, we were talking about it and she was like, literally same, like I always wanted to have like a 90s party. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's my dream party. So we decided to like go in on it. And it was great because we have a pretty fluid friend group. Like my group of friends, she knows pretty much all of them. I know her group of friends. And then I invited like a couple like old school friends from like back in the day too. And we rented out a space. So it was just us and like our people. And like we were able to like open the door so there was fresh air. We were safe, but we got a DJ and just decorated 90s and like
full 90s.
Just danced with like our group of friends. Yeah. And it was I haven't danced like that and been able to just like have fun like that in so long.
And there's something about, and guys, you guys are going to be so proud. I was a dancing machine.
She was.
Saturday night.
I have video proof.
And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that they were all people that I knew.
Yeah.
And there weren't like, and I mean, I know you're going to get what I say.
Yeah.
What? I know you're going to get what I mean when I say this.
Yes.
There weren't any like male prospects.
Yeah, like you didn't go there to find a guy.
Because I wasn't trying to like find a guy to hook up with or dance with or whatever. It freed me
to just have fun.
To just freaking be the dancing machine that is inside of me that is always hard to pull out.
But you know what I think it also was? Like you were a character.
Yes.
Like you came in a costume, you were dressed up, you had your freaking ring pop in hand and were just like a 90s queen and it was glorious.
Which brings me to the next thing. Every party should be themed.
Yeah.
This weekend proved to me like we should have wig parties. We should have 80s party. Every party we do should have some kind of theme so that everyone dresses up because I had a blast putting my outfit together. Yeah.
Yeah. It was so much. We'll post some pictures on UA just showing. It was the best night, but poor planning on my part because that morning of the party and the morning after I had to go help with an estate sale for my grandpa and I had to leave the house at 5. So I was not living well the next day, but it's okay.
Which brings us to this morning.
Which is why I think I'm just still tired.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so much fun. I
have a funny story. So on Saturday, Taryne's 90s party, like she said, it was completely decorated 90s. There was a whole like candy bar and it had ring pops and push pops and fun dip and like all the candy that we grew up with, you know. So I haven't seen a ring pop in years.
Yes,
so
they're so good. Did you forget how good they are? I had
2, and I went blue raspberry because obviously, which made my mouth extremely blue for every photo that I'm in.
Same.
And there's a lot and my mouth is wide open and I look like a little blue mouth alien.
But do you remember when you used to think that was like cool?
Oh yeah.
Like I used to purposely try to.
I'm cute. And I would always try to do red because I felt like it was like lipstick.
Yeah.
Just thoughts.
Lick the lips a little. Try to like stain them.
And she even had temporary tattoos. So there was a whole table in the bathroom where you could go and put tattoos on each other.
I went all out, people.
She really did. And me and my friend Ashley, because we are both named Ashley, went and put tattoos on each other. And I was like, oh, I don't know which one I want.
Yeah.
And then I look and there's this little troll, like the troll dolls. And I haven't seen one of those in forever. It made eye contact with me. It was kind of flirting with me. And I was like, I gotta. And she was like, where do you want it? And I was like, tramp stamp me. So she put it on my lower back. Guys, I had a date the next day.
Wait, was it showing? Wait, did you acknowledge it beforehand? Stop it.
He was in his car, he was waiting for me. I pull up right next to his car and we both get out at the same time. I don't even make it around my car. And he's like, what is that? And I didn't know what he was talking about. I was like, what is what? And he like turns me around and like lifts up my shirt slightly to see the troll. And I was like, how in the world did you spot that? And he was like, I saw it the second you got out of the car. And I was like, was it that obvious? And I ended up having to like explain the whole situation. Also this morning, it's kind of worn off.
It looks a little bit rough.
But I was working out this morning and one of the trainers was like, is that a troll on your back? And I was like, yes.
You know what? You should just get it real, because that would be great.
I feel like it because it's been a hit with everyone who has
Oh,
seen
it's a great
far.
talking point.
Yeah.
Great talking point.
I even put it on my stories and the amount of DMs that were like, this is iconic.
Let's bring back
Let's
tramp
do it.
stamps.
And trolls.
Yeah. Troll tattoos and tramp stamps.
Moral of the story.
Yes.
Get a troll tattoo.
So that was our weekend. I hope all of you listening had a great weekend too.
Uh-huh.
And should we get into what we do or just keep talking?
Yes, I have a Taryne It Up for us. Taryne, do you want to break down what a Taryne It Up is?
Yes. So a Taryne It Up is basically a community where we talk about the embarrassing, unfortunate things that happen in our lives that we're sacrificing our embarrassment, humility, pride, whatever, to bring joy to those around us.
And by our embarrassing stories, we mean your embarrassing stories.
Oh, we've shared enough of ours. So
Taryne has shared enough of hers.
Yeah.
This one is titled A Hop, Skip, and a Trip. A Taryne It Up.
Oh, no.
So let's dive on into it. Hi, guys. It's Lauren, and I'm an Enneagram Type 7. So she's the adventurous, enthusiast, life of the party, outgoing person. So a few weeks ago, I was visiting my brother in Chicago. He lives in a loft type apartment. So his living room is downstairs and his bedroom and bathroom are upstairs. Anyways, after a long day going to the baseball game and seeing the town, we went back to his apartment and went straight to bed. I was sleeping on the couch and woke up from sweating and also had to use the bathroom. On my way back down to go back to bed, I took one step and flew down the entire staircase. My first reaction was to do the sign of the cross and to see if I woke my brother up, which I didn't. But on a positive note, I never got down the stairs quicker.
Oh my gosh, is she alive though?
I mean, I would love to know more about the stairs. Like, did she go down the entire staircase? I don't know. I'll leave you with the lessons I learned while falling down the stairs. 1, never wear socks to bed. It adds less traction during the trip, which happened to me recently. Remember?
You wear socks in bed?
No. Going down the stairs in socks.
Oh, yeah.
So she wore socks to bed and slipped on the staircase. And that happened to me recently. And Taryne saw the whole thing and I made eye contact with her during the whole thing.
It was very impressive how you didn't die. Like you landed perfectly.
It was weird.
It was scary.
It was weird. 2, don't count on your brother to wake up and make sure you're alive. He's a hefty sleeper. 3, buy hallway night lights. Just in general, we have night lights because
you never know.
Biggest fear is probably the dark for me. So our whole house is lit up at night.
Yeah.
Anyways, I hope this made you laugh. Thank you for reading. I hope you have the best week ever. Thanks, Lauren.
So good. I've fallen up the stairs before. That was an interesting one. And then I've fallen down the stairs a few times. But luckily, like, I've never full blown like rolled down the stairs.
Yeah.
Like the one time in Vegas, it was really bad, and my crush was walking in front of me, and I don't know what happened, but my heels, I just don't mesh well with heels. My heels, like, something happened, and I ended up, so my legs bent, so I slid down on my shins holding the rail. So it was like going down. And then I just remember I barely, like, I flipped my hair and stood back up, and then my crush turned around and looked at me, and I just kind of froze. And then he was like, "Did you just fall down the stairs?" And I was like, "Yes." And then I just started like crying because my shins had like no skin left on them.
Right.
But,
oh my God.
It's brutal. Have you?
No, I've never fallen down that way. I have fallen back on the stairs. This happened
back.
Like I fell backwards.
Oh, okay.
Like my feet slipped out from underneath me because socks.
Ooh, and tailbone.
I have. We have wooden stairs. And so if you wear socks, and I'm especially in the colder times, I always have like fuzzy socks on.
Were you like running down them?
No, I simply took a step, and I had bags in my hand, and my feet just slipped out from in front of me, and I landed back on my tailbone, and it was sore for like
that's no joke.
2 to 3 weeks because I just happened to hit it just right, and falling on the stairs is honestly brutal. It's dangerous. You gotta be careful. Brutal.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing that. Everyone who's fallen down the stairs, we see you.
We see you. We hear you. We're with you.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey is one of the most successful singers of all time, but her rags to riches story isn't exactly a fairy tale. On an all-new season of Even the Rich, you'll hear the astonishing story of Mariah Carey's rise to fame and the heartbreaks and trauma she survived along the way. Even the Rich starts with Mariah's rise to stardom when she used her extraordinary once-in-a-lifetime musical talents to escape a dangerous upbringing, only to find herself tied to music executive Tommy Mottola, the man who helped her make her dreams a reality. After finally finding the strength to leave Mottola in 1998, Mariah stumbled and struggled to rebuild her career, to prove to herself and the world that she truly is the greatest singer of her generation. Even the Rich has a roller coaster of a story of Mariah's rise and fall and comeback. You guys already know I've talked about this on episodes before. I'm a huge podcast fan, and I love listening to stories like this. I'm very invested in this story and hearing more about Mariah's life that I just never heard of before. Listen to Even the Rich on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or you can listen ad-free by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app.
So guys, you know, we love to get personal on this show, and there's nothing more personal than your health. When it comes to finding the right protein powder to meet your fitness goals, you need to have a personalized approach, and thankfully now there's Gainful.
If you guys don't know what Gainful is, let me break it down for you. Gainful has proteins that are formulated with simple and effective ingredients that work to achieve a wide range of fitness goals. Whether you're trying to lose weight or build muscle, Gainful is here for you. You can get started by taking the 5-minute Gainful quiz. Gainful supports your whole body health, individual fitness goals, and ever-evolving needs. Gainful's personalized protein arrives unflavored, so you can switch back and forth between 8 delicious flavor boosts like chocolate peanut butter, Madagascar vanilla, or strawberry cream, which I hate being stuck with one. I always get tired of one and then I buy another, and it's expensive, so love that. And then Taryne and I personally love that Gainful's rigorous quality control process ensures that your supplements only have clean ingredients you can pronounce, along with 0 artificial flavors, colors, or sweeteners. I personally am obsessed with Gainful because their protein is formulated with simple and effective ingredients that work to achieve a wide range of fitness goals, whether you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to build muscle.
To get $20 off your personalized protein, go to gainful.com/advice. That's Gainful, GAINFUL.com/advice for $20 off. Gainful, personalized nutrition made for your tastes.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get into mine.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this one is called, Am I a Sociopath or Am I Just Becoming My Husband? Which, like, I'm concerned for, like, multiple areas.
Yeah. Is your husband a sociopath?
Dude, sociopaths? Well, psychopaths. Like, they terrify
Wait, which one are we
me.
talking about?
I mean, okay. Like, I mean,
obviously psychopaths.
Sociopaths are scary too, like, obviously. But when the last time I was just listening to a recent episode, I don't remember which one, but they were talking about how this guy was like a psychopath. And then like you think about all the stuff you've heard about him and you're just like the fact that you could do things and not feel any type of remorse. Like basically all the good decisions I make are because one, I want to do the right thing, but also there's that fear of getting in trouble, hurting someone else, whatever. Like imagine not having that compass at all.
Oh, everything's an option.
Oh my gosh, it's so scary.
Hell no. Yeah.
No.
Mm-mm.
Which I know you're not serious about being a sociopath in this, but still, it just brought up some things.
Wait, can I just
every crime junkie out there knows. Yes.
Since we're talking about this, our Halloween series is coming up.
Yes.
Our October
Great
series
segue.
is coming up since we're talking about sociopaths and psychopaths.
Yeah.
Y'all already know we go hard for October. Every single episode in October is going to be a scary story season. So if you have a scary story that you've experienced or you know someone who has had a scary story or situation happen to them, please get it down on paper and send it to us because we need to hear it.
Yes.
We very much love the spooky season and we're going to go all out. And if you haven't listened to our October series yet, we have two. And you need to listen to them. You should binge them prior to this coming October so that we can experience our third season together.
I fully
as
agree.
A community.
Yes,
you know?
I fully agree.
Cool.
Fully agree.
Just wanted to throw that out there. You can continue now, Taryne.
Okay, but now I'm like all like let's talk about this murder. Okay. All right. She says, "Hey hotties, I would like to stay anonymous. Also, thank you for calling me hot because I just don't feel hot today.
We really need that today.
So I appreciate it. Anyways, okay. Hey hotties, I would like to stay anonymous because I'm not exactly proud of what I am admitting to in this message.
Oh.
I have been a listener since the beginning, and although my life is ever changing, my loyalty to the pod stays the same.
Queen, we love you.
Okay. All right. I'm 29 years old, and I'm a stay-at-home mom to a 9-month-old.
I was just about to be like, hey, me too. No, I'm not. I'm 31.
Are you okay?
No, I'm not.
Okay. While Ash continues to have...
I've lost all track of time this COVID season. Anyways, continue. I'm sorry.
It's fine. You were 29 one time before. So, same. Okay. I'm a stay-at-home mom to a 9-month-old little boy. Y'all, I am so obsessed with this baby. I highly suggest having a mama's boy. My life is pretty basic. She put PB, pun intended.
Oh, nice.
Pretty basic. And it goes like this. I'm an Enneagram 5. I live in the same town I've always been in, which is a very small town in NorCal. I have the same friends since high school, and my family lives just 5 minutes away. My husband, who is pretty quiet and standoffish and is an Enneagram 9, Ash.
Hello.
Works for a very big company and makes great money, which allows me to stay home with my baby. This is great for me because I suffer from postpartum anxiety, and leaving him is extremely hard for me. While I absolutely love being his mom, I have found that I don't really have an identity of my own anymore. I have nothing to say when I see my friends because our lives are so different, and to be honest, I just don't care what's going on with anyone else. I don't feel emotionally connected to anyone but my husband anymore, and I can't remember the last time I truly cared that someone else was having a hard time. That sounds awful, right? I feel so emotionally disconnected that I'm afraid I'm turning into such a selfish person. I was always pretty social, and I'm wondering if my husband's lack of socialization skills have rubbed off on me, or if I'm actually suffering from some type of mental break. And to answer your question, yes, I have tried therapy. Something to note about me is I hate when the attention is on me, especially negative. I know it's their job, but I can't imagine that a therapist actually cares to hear my problems, and therefore I often minimize my issues. I just don't think spending a chunk of money on therapy is the best option for me. So please, tell it to me straight. Am I a sociopath? I love that ending because I'm like that too, where I'm like, is something wrong with me? Just tell me.
I'd rather
Don't
know.
sugarcoat
I'd
it.
rather know and work with this.
Let me know. Yeah.
That's funny because she is an Enneagram 5, which is like the researcher, like the questionnaire that has to like read every article on every subject before handling something.
It's funny. I always tell people like the fact that you're writing in and you're asking questions just proves right off the bat that you're not.
Yeah.
And I remember too, like when I was little, I was so afraid that I wasn't saying the prayer right to become a Christian. So every Sunday, every time anyone said, if you want to become a Christian, raise your hand, I would say the prayer over and over because I wasn't convinced.
Yeah.
And then I remember when I got older, I had a teacher and they told me, they were like, the fact that you're worried that you didn't do it right shows that like, you
fine.
are like your heart is in the right place. Like it's something that you desire. And so that statement helped me a lot to be like, sometimes when we focus so much on something, it shows that our heart is wanting that area to be right.
Yeah.
And it kind of should be validation in itself. But I have so many things to say about this.
Oh, pop off.
But do you want to start on it?
Go for it.
Can we okay, I know that you said like therapy's not for you, and that's why I just want to let's just get this out of the way because obviously like big therapy fans over here.
Huge.
I think something that like because I went to school to be a therapist, right? So I feel like I can speak on the mentality of it, and I really think that you have the wrong idea of what a therapist's role is. And it's first of all, it's not negative attention. Like anything you go in and say, a therapist is the one person that is never going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe she's doing that.
Yeah.
It's a completely different mentality. It's much more of a, you go into it. Any sessions that I did when I was like doing my practice hours, you go into it and you, first of all, like you empathize with people, but second, you're very much like thinking about what they're saying and then thinking about strategies and different things that you can ask or suggest to help just process it. You're never going in trying to be like, oh, something's wrong with them and I'm going to fix them. It's very much like, how can I partner with them to like find ways to like take steps forward? So I don't know if that would help you, but I think you're thinking about it wrong. Like, I mean, we discussed like freaking really intense subjects, like even like bestiality, and talked about like what is like the core of it, like what are steps we can take. And it's not, even though, like as a person separate, I have my own views and things that I think of and reactions I would have towards certain things. But when I'm sitting with someone, I'm thinking straight up like, how can I like how can we get to the bottom of this area? Like it's not in the way that I think that you're thinking about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's very much like strategy. So I just want to throw that out there because I think that like, I don't know. I think therapy has like a bad rep sometimes.
Yeah. I think it's becoming way more open and talked about now.
Yeah.
But I do think typically there's this kind of like background understanding of like what it is that people don't fully understand. Like I've been in therapy for a while now, and I very much consider her to be a like partner in life. And what I mean when I say that is it doesn't matter what the situation is. It could be very heavy and serious, or it could be very lighthearted, or it could be about a guy that I went out with for the first time like the other day. It could be about a friendship thing or a family thing. I'll just be like, here's what I'm going through. Here's how I feel. What do I do about it? And then me and her literally brainstorm and come up with a plan of attack. Yeah. And so it doesn't have to be, I think people think like you have to be in a sick state to need a therapist. I mean, I've been in sick states, but like currently I feel like I'm in a good place. And I still very much like, I love bringing like my daily stuff to her and making a plan. And I think it's very helpful.
Yeah, and like we talk about all the time, find like if you're very much like I don't like negative attention, find someone who's super like non-emotional. Like my therapist right now is very just straightforward. Like she'll just be like, I noticed you got emotional. Like why did you get emotional?
Yeah.
She's not sitting there being like, oh, I see that this is hard for you. You know what I mean? So like
I couldn't handle the
which I thought I would want
heavy emotion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't like
I'm
that
just
either.
saying like you should like find like the thing that works for you.
Taryne worded it perfectly, which you've probably heard since you've been listening for a while. At the beginning of this podcast, she said that finding the right therapist is like finding like the perfect pair of shoes. Like just because it fits doesn't mean it's the perfect fit.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes a lot of tries until you find someone that you actually click with. And I think once you find someone that you click with, you'll find that partner who you'll feel comfortable opening up and sharing heavy things, lighthearted things with.
Fully. Also, okay, so that's just which if you're still like, nah, it's not for me, do your thing, girl. We each have to do what's right for us. But
listen to us.
Just
more.
wanted to change your life.
We'll fill that void.
Yeah.
We volunteer.
Yeah. You know, I think that something happens when you become a mom that your wants, your needs, your priorities don't, it's not that they don't matter, but they just don't, they're not at the top anymore.
Yeah.
And I've watched this with friends. I watched my sister-in-law struggle with finding that balance of like, no, my life is different and he comes first no matter what. So I think that is a big shift. And I think that it would be scary if your focus wasn't on your child. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think that that's a good thing. However, I do think you have to keep your identity as well, because I think that when kids get older and they start to grow, like everything between 0 and 5, and I'm going to enter into my child development hat.
Dive in, Taryne.
Kids are looking to the adults in their life to know how to feel, how to form certain, you know, beliefs, whatever. Like even stuff like anxiety, right? Like I have anxiety because of what I see and it freaks me out. So then I go internally and I start to have anxiety. If a stressful situation happens with a kid, they look to an adult to see how they're reacting to know whether they are safe or not. So that's why a lot of times, like even as a teacher, like when we'd have certain things like fire drills or whatever, I would over the top make my demeanor very calm so I could bring the anxiety of the kids down so that I could get them to duck and cover or like whatever the drill was, right? So I think that as your kid is growing, they're going to need to look to you and your husband to start to form their likes, to form their personality traits, to form different things about them. And so I think it's like helpful for them to know what type of person you are. You know what I mean? And I think it also is healthy for you to have that balance, because someday like kids grow up and they go off. And then I think that's when a lot of parents struggle and have, you know, either marital issues or just an identity thing, is because they're like, okay, I don't have my kid anymore. Not that you don't have them, but you know what I mean? And they're like, who am I? Like without my kid, you know?
Yeah. I obviously don't have children. So
we have dog children.
Can't relate to that aspect in any way, but I have had a lot of friends that have had kids now, and they've vented very similar things and expressed very similar struggles. It is, like Taryne said, it's just so natural to put your kid first. Like, of course, that's what's going to be prioritized or what should be prioritized. But I do think there is this, I don't know. I'm going to try to clearly articulate
You
this.
got this, girl.
I'm so bad at this.
I'll translate if
Thank you.
needed.
I appreciate that,
of course.
Taryne. Everyone, get yourself a Taryne. So I do think that, and this is again coming from an outsider's perspective, I do think that there is this misunderstanding that to be a parent, you have to be 100% in every way self-sacrificial. And I see where that stems from. And I think that's a beautiful thing to to forget oneself and to prioritize another human being. I do think that is necessary to a degree to be a parent. However, I agree with Taryne. I think you have to hold on to who you are, like at your core, and do things for yourself as well. Otherwise, you'll lose yourself, and you will only identify / find joy and fulfillment in another human being. It doesn't matter if it's your kid or your husband or your family member or friend. That's not healthy because that human being eventually is going to let you down or leave you or do something that is going to very much affect you because you've thrown everything into that one person.
Oh, fully.
So I do think you need to hold on to a piece of you, and it doesn't matter what it is, but you need to figure out what that is. So maybe right now, take this season as a time to like try a bunch of different things. I don't know what you're into. For me, mine has always been working out. It's going to be hard when I have a kid. That's going to be really hard, and it's going to be a rough transition, and Taryne's going to have to help me get through that. But that's my thing. Maybe yours is meditation or walks or coffee dates with a friend once a week. Once you figure out what your thing is, you're going to need to voice that to your husband and be like, hey, I love my kid. I love you. I love prioritizing this family, but I need something for me so that I feel like I'm still me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he'll be, he needs to be supportive of that. So once you figure out what that is, you're like, hey, once a week, I'm going to go meet my friend for coffee for an hour. That's all I need. And I'm going to be good. And then as best as you can, prioritize that 1 hour for you, whatever it is. And then maybe you can do more. The older the kid gets and doesn't need you as much, maybe you could do a couple coffees or like walks by yourself. It doesn't matter what it is. Just figure out what it is and prioritize that
fully
one thing for you. And I think that's going to help a lot.
Yeah. Gosh, you articulated that great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For sure.
I'm really bad.
No, no, you're not. No, you're not.
I like have to, my brain, I think what it is I know what I want to say, but there's 10 things I want to say and it jumbles. And so then I panic because I don't know like how I'm going to, what my plan of attack is. So yeah.
No, you did great.
Thank you.
I totally agree. And I think I also would start to like verbalize this, I think right now you have a lot of shame attached to this, which is why you said you wanted to be anonymous, which like obviously like we're a safe space for that. But I would start to talk about it. Like I noticed that even with Vanessa, my sister-in-law, like she would go through certain things and she would straight up say like, no one talks about this like as a mom, like no one talks about how hard this is or that this is a possibility. And so I think we need more like beautiful, strong, independent women that are like, life is not all rainbows and bubbles.
I'm an open book.
Yeah, like sometimes I struggle with this and I don't care about what everyone else thinks because I'm focused on me and my kid. And like that's okay too. So I think you need to like detach from any shame that's attached to that and then start to just talk to people and prioritize forcing yourself into scenarios to weed out like this is not of interest to me anymore or wow, that was actually really fun, like I need to start making this a regular thing.
Yeah, I think this is a really exciting season for you because now you get to just kind of play around and see what sticks. You can try a few things. If it's a no-go, scratch it off your list, move down to the next thing. It's not a personal thing if it doesn't work out. But once you find that thing, I think you're gonna thrive.
Yeah, and start time like for me, like will there be an episode where I don't bring up Legos? I don't know. But for me, like even that, like it's something I do by myself. And it's something that I do because I genuinely want to and it makes me happy. So even if all these things sound big, like I feel like people don't get how like the tiny steps are just as important. So even if it literally is you saying to your husband like, hey, I'm going to go drive and get out of my car and walk in to get coffee somewhere and I'll be right back. Like even like tiny things that you do can start snowballing into something bigger, Yeah.
I mean, I've been working from home for a really long time. And one of the things that me and my sister differ on dramatically is Alicia, my sister, can sit at home and edit all day long and not feel any type of way about it. I will go crazy. I don't like it. So very early on, I learned that a quick coffee run dramatically changes my day. I just need to see people and I need to get out of the house and I need to get outside at some point, whether it's me sitting outside and, you know, journaling or with my coffee for 10 minutes in the backyard or, you know, walking to coffee, maybe like something so simple and short dramatically changes my mood. And I work better and I am more effective at what I do when I do that.
Yeah.
So I guarantee you the same thing's going to work with parenting and in your family. If you allow yourself that 15-minute getaway, that 15-minute go sit by yourself in complete silence, you know, I guarantee you you're going to be in a better mood to more efficiently and effectively care for your family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Prioritize yourself even 5
first.
minutes. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I hope this helped. I hope
I feel like we nailed that.
I mean, you know,
not to sound too cocky,
sometimes
but
like I start talking for so long that I forget like what I originally was trying to say. So I'm just gonna hope that the message was beautiful.
You know
and
what I used to do at the top of this podcast? I used to have a notepad and I would jot down thoughts
too,
like lawyers.
And
I kind of
stopped. That's why people keep coming back, because I think they can tell we just are like genuinely just sitting and talking.
Genuinely just like brainstorming. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Anonymous. You got this. And hug that little mama's boy for us. I hope. I pray. I want boys. Like, I'm made to be a boy mom.
I see that.
So first gotta find a
Can't
guy.
wait for your little girl
to be able to. Oh my gosh, I know. But she's going to be just like me. She's going to be like a weird little...
Okay, guys, you already know, but Taryne and I are huge advocates for therapy. We are both currently in therapy and have been in therapy for a while. I find therapy to be so useful in so many aspects of life. It doesn't matter if you're going through something specific or if you're just living your life. A little bit of help goes a very long way, and Taryne and I are here to encourage you to do so, and we highly recommend BetterHelp. You guys already know this probably by heart, but let me just go ahead and share these facts with you. BetterHelp has licensed professional counselors who are specialized in things like depression, anger, stress, family conflicts, anxiety, LGBT matters, relationships, grief, sleeping, self-esteem, trauma, and so much more. One of my favorite things about BetterHelp is you can do all of these amazing things to better yourself from the comforts of home. They will meet you where you're at. If you want to text them, FaceTime them, phone call them, Zoom them, it doesn't matter. They are here for you and they will meet you wherever you would like to meet them. Taryne and I love BetterHelp because they make it very easy to change counselors at no extra cost. Taryne and I do believe that sometimes it takes a little bit of time to find the right counselor for you, and BetterHelp makes that easy. We want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/advice, ADVICE. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/advice. No matter what you're curious about, the key to learning is to never stop. This is so true when it comes to businesses. No 2 quarters or even 2 weeks look the same, and learning from each challenge and implementing processes to support those learnings is the key to success. Monday.com WorkOS helps our team run our processes more efficiently, track our progress, and learn together. Over 125,000 customers use Monday.com to communicate, collaborate, and help their teams win. Monday.com is a customizable platform that gives teams the ability to easily create the tools they need and want for their work. Teams can create any workflow on top of Monday.com to manage anything they need, such as projects, processes, leads, client requests, or whatever your team manages. As you guys know, I started my own clothing brand with my sister, and Monday.com has been super helpful for us because we have a big team, but all of us work from home remotely, and Monday.com has allowed us to work on projects together like we're in the same room. And it keeps everything organized and running efficiently. The platform is super flexible, so teams can customize it to fit their needs, create a workflow from scratch, or simply pick a template, get started right away, and adjust it however you want. Monday.com is how effective teams meet their goals. If you manage a team, visit Monday.com for your free 2-week trial. Create the perfect workflow for your team with Monday.com WorkOS. To start your free 14-day trial, go to Monday.com. Do you know the difference between an antiperspirant and a deodorant? Antiperspirants contain aluminum, which forms a plug in your sweat glands to stop you from sweating. Native deodorant does not contain aluminum or parabens or sulfates. It's vegan and it's never tested on animals. Native just works to keep you smelling fresh all day long. Guys, you wear deodorant every single day. Don't you think you should be able to understand the ingredients list? Native deodorant is made with ingredients that you've actually heard of, like coconut oil and shea butter. I was worried about making the switch from aluminum deodorant to aluminum free, but Native makes it so that you do not have to sacrifice on performance, which is super key for me because I work out every day. If I don't have deodorant on, I'm a smell and it's gonna be bad. With over 10 scents, including their classic and rotating seasonals, you're guaranteed to find one that you absolutely love. Their classic scents include coconut and vanilla, which is the most popular, but they also have a lavender and rose, cucumber and mint, and eucalyptus and mint. I'm also a bit of an outdoorsy girl, and I love Native deodorant because they have an unscented option, which is amazing and has a baking soda free formula for those with sensitive skin, allowing you to go outside and not get eaten alive by mosquitoes. Love that. You are going to love Native as much as I do. Right now, you can save 20% on your first purchase. Go to nativedeo.com/advice or use promo code advice at checkout. That's nativedeo.com/advice or use promo code advice at checkout to save 20% on your first purchase. Okay, moving on to my story. This one is titled Baby Daddy Drama.
No.
Oh, no. Okay. Getting into it. Hi, Taryne and Ashley. I'm a new listener of the podcast, and you two ladies make my 9-to-5 job filled with laughter and smiles. So thank you so much for that.
I love it. We had like a
Anytime.
freaking day one and a new listener. This is perfect.
This is amazing. She adds, I would like to say anonymous, please. I am going to give you some details of my current situation and give a little explanation of how I got into the situation so you can have a better understanding before you give your wisdom.
Oh, we'll give it.
She adds in parentheses, you guys are wise beyond your years. So if you read this on the pod, I'll be excited to hear your point of view. Stop gassing us up so much. Jeez. My face, giant smile. Okay, she writes, I am a 26-year-old mom of 2. I had my firstborn at 22 and my second at 24. Truthfully, both of my pregnancies were not planned, but I am so beyond grateful for my beautiful children. Their father and I were both 21 when I became pregnant, and we were only dating for about a year, which honestly is not very long. I ignored red flags about him before, and even after we had our first and second born, the longer I stayed in this relationship, the more unhappy I became. He would constantly gaslight me, lie about small things for no reason, blame me for him not being happy, as well as call me names. We'll put a pin right there. Pin right there.
No.
I finally had enough and ended the relationship when my second child was only 10 months old. This was very hard as he told me I was, quote, pulling our family apart. Oof. And made me feel extremely guilty. Now here we are 1.5 years later, and he is still trying to gaslight me and is constantly disagreeing with me. Even after saying all this, I can't deny that my children are obsessed with their dad because even though he was not a good partner to me, he's still an amazing father, and I will never say otherwise if we do not get along. The thing I'm struggling with is I can't get away from my toxic ex because he is the father of my children and the person I co-parent with on an everyday basis. My question is, how to move on from my toxic ex when I'm going to have to communicate with him for the rest of my life?
Oh my gosh.
And what should I do about him still acting toxic towards me? She adds, I am at a loss. I just want to move on and live a happy life with my babies. Any advice is appreciated. Love, Anonymous.
Ouch, man.
Oofa. This is a lot. And I'm very excited to hear Taryne's perspective. I do want to just take a moment and recognize that the decision that you made was a very hard decision. But I'm very proud of you for standing up for yourself. I think a lot of women in these situations feel stuck, and don't have the strength to make this type of decision to prioritize yourself in that relationship, and stand up for yourself. And I think that's really amazing that you were able to do that. It is a bummer that he's in your life. You can't get away from that.
I mean, it literally is the thing that like can tie you to a person forever.
Yeah. So, that is super unfortunate. I love that he's a great father. So that is nice.
That's a plus.
That's a huge plus. And I feel like what you must be struggling with is it must be hard to want to stand up for yourself and make it clear to your kids that it's not okay for their father to treat you that way, while also wanting to protect their image of their father.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I think obviously I agree with Ash that it took a lot of like courage and strength to do this, but I think a lot of times like it's not even that women like don't feel the strength. It's that they feel like that pressure of like,
for their children's
I can't
sake.
break my family up for this. And you obviously married the person for a reason. So you're fighting to like hope that that person comes back. And, you know, like unfortunately a lot of people have different traumas or things in their childhood that skew your vision of what you deserve and what is right or wrong. And so you can kind of like fall into the trap of thinking that's okay behavior or things like that. So, I mean, that's like a whole other topic. And I think there's something powerful, and I know that your kids aren't old enough to understand this now, but I think there's something powerful in showing them that it's not okay to stay in a relationship where you're being mistreated. And I think that though that makes it hard on, you know, like the traditional family being broken up.
Right.
I know so many people who have grown up in families with separated parents that are beautiful, strong, stable humans. And then I know others that it's been hard for them, but it's also just a part of their story. So I think that someday you having that conversation of, you know, I know you guys love your dad and I love him too, but there were things that weren't okay that I had to make sure that I made a choice for myself, which I mean that I can't even approach what that conversation should look like because I can't relate to that personally. But it's so hard, and it's so because there's things you can do, right? Like you can have it to where any communication is just strictly between. I don't fully know all this stuff, but I know there's a lot of like when there's like divorce, like you can have like a child advocate, like through basically like
a middleman.
Yeah, like so it's more of like that person that is like going in between you and your husband or ex. But it's just tricky. It's such a hard thing to navigate, but I do think that he still is having too much access into how you're living your life. So if he can't respect that boundary of like, hey, we're only discussing stuff between the kids, and if you talk to me inappropriate, like the conversation's over, then I'm just saying there are other steps that you can take if you want to take like a legal route. But that's, again, opens up doors for other stuff too. So it's just hard.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time on the podcast, but I think what needs to happen is we need to start drawing lines, some boundaries in the relationship. And here's where I think it would be really helpful. I think the next time he talks to you like that, I think what's really easy and what's the most beneficial way to talk to people like this is to not react and not overreact, but stay very calm and say, don't talk to me like that.
Yeah.
Like very simple, very short, easy to understand and digest comments that call out what he's doing.
Yeah.
Don't raise your voice to me. And I think that's okay. Things like that, those short, very, stand up for yourself little phrases, I think that's good for your kids to see you say that.
Yeah.
I know a few people in my life who left their husbands, and I was able to watch them during this process as a kid. And I think it was actually really beneficial for me to sit and listen to, my mom and this other woman talk about reasons why she left her husband, because I was a lot older. First of all, I want to say that I was like, I think 13 or 14. So at a much more like understandable age, but I obviously didn't hear all the details, but like my mom would allow me to hear parts, or she would explain parts to me, like he was hurting her and that's not okay. And she would make it very clear, like he would say things to her that were not okay. And it's okay that she said this or stood up for herself or left because he was not being a good husband. And I think it's really important for children to hear that it's okay to stand up for yourself. I'm just coming from a purely female perspective. I think it's necessary for young girls to hear that it's okay to stand up and say no, that's not all right, and to even leave to prove a point that you cannot be talked to in this way, you can't be treated in this way. So obviously your kids are younger, and we don't want that to affect how they view their father. But I do think if you start drawing those lines now between the two of you, then maybe one day when they're older, you'll be able to firmly, respond, and that line will already be there. Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. And I think we need to normalize like parents having conflicts in front of kids even. Like, I know, like, I think it should be intentional. And I think there's a difference from toxic, unhealthy fighting and like there should be things that are shielded from your kids. But I think that's good for kids to see it. And even some of the teachers like I work with, I'm always telling them like, if you're in a bad mood, verbalize that and show your kids, like be like, you know what? Like Miss Taryne is so sad right now because this happened today and I didn't like it and it made me mad. And now I need to take some deep breaths to calm down and like show kids examples of like, I'm feeling this and I don't like it. Or if I'm having a conflict with you, like I don't like that you said that, and you apologizing and us like talking about it and showing healthy conflict resolution versus like, oh, nothing ever happens and I don't know how to like communicate in these situations. So I think there's times to say, like, Mommy, why are you sad? Well, Daddy said something to me and it really hurt my feelings. And I don't like when he talks like that. So it made me sad. And I need to make sure to tell him he can't talk to me like that. You know, like there's ways to make it small bite size to where kids can understand it and still feel safe in the process. Yeah. But
you can say Daddy hurt my feelings without going into detail. Yeah. And it's okay for your kids to hear that Daddy hurt your feelings because Daddy is human. Just like Mommy is human. Yeah. And they're going to make mistakes. No, fully. Yeah. But, I just want to say I have so much respect for all the moms out there. Yeah, this was a mom episode.
Yeah, I think moms are so, they're just like very hidden heroes. And I think they do so much that is not acknowledged. So I just want to say that we love you all and we are here to support in any way we can. And obviously, like, I think support systems are so, so important. So for both our anonymous writers and anyone listening, make sure you guys are reaching out and finding those people to talk about everything with, even the bad stuff, because sometimes we hide it and I don't think that's healthy. So we love you guys.
Yes, we really do.
But yeah, reach out to people.
Thank you so much for writing in, Anonymous.
Killing it.
I know so many people are relating to this in so many ways. Honestly, female, male, like the whole parent problem, all of this is very relatable. And I know you're speaking to a wide audience right now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, to wrap this up, I'm going to end with a dad joke.
Please do.
I had a nightmare that I drowned in an ocean of orange soda. But thankfully, it was just a fantasy.
Oh my God. That was so good. That was so good.
Oh, well, I love me some orange soda. Anyways, we love you guys so much. Thank you so much for writing.
You're our favorites. If you listen to the dad joke, we love you the most. announced.
Yeah.
Be sure to send us all of your scary stories for our October series, which is coming up shortly. Follow us on all the socials. Taryne and I have been super active on Instagram lately, so follow us there, hang out with us there, chat with us there, and we'll talk soon.
Yes.
Love you. Bye.